Well, last night was pretty interesting, wasn't it? I gotta tell you, I didn't really know what to expect with last night's debate, but I think we can all agree that we did not exactly expect how it panned out. But listen, let me cut right to the chase. I think Trump won the debate, and I think ultimately it will end up helping him. I'm seeing a lot of people on both sides. It almost seems to me like I've been looking around at both sides, and it almost seems to me as though people on Biden's side are worried that Trump won, and people on Trump's side are worried that Biden won. I think Trump won the debate. I think that it will help him in the election. But I also think that he made some mistakes. So in this video, I want to explain first why I do believe that Trump won and ultimately why it will help him. And then I'm going to tell you why I think it got really hard to watch in the back half of the debate. So let's start off with the good news. Why Trump won. I have here on my screen a tweet from Adam Friended. He sent it earlier this morning. Stylistically, the debate was a huge win for Trump. Trump dominated Biden. Trump illustrated how Biden would fare in every rough exchange with foreign adversaries and his own party. That information will stay with voters. It's very primal and it works. And Adam is 100% correct. This is why Trump won the debate, and this is why this, I do believe, will ultimately help him in November, regardless of whether or not you approve of his attitude. I absolutely think the fact that Trump showed up and was, well, for lack of a better word, the big swinging D in the room last night will absolutely help him because people want their president to be a leader. Now, you might not like Trump's attitude, but that doesn't matter. We are, as Adam said here, this is a primal thing. When, like, think evolutionary, back way back when we were cavemen, there was the alpha caveman that was the ruler of the tribe, and that alpha is Donald Trump. Biden looked like a beta in comparison. Here was my response in my retweet of Adam. I said, here's the thing, whether you like him or not, Trump showed the qualities we all think of when we think of bad A leaders who fight for what they believe in last night. Biden looked very weak by comparison. People want the president to be a leader, not a weakling. Guys, Biden looked like he was going to cry for most of that debate. He was not prepared. He was not prepared to go up against the freight train that is Donald Trump. So I do think this is going to resonate with voters because they want the president to be powerful. They want the president to be in control. What Trump showed last night is that he is a fighter. Biden showed that he's like a waffler and can barely speak in a coherent sentence. And who do you want? Who do you want negotiating with China? Who do you want negotiating with North Korea? Who do you even want negotiating with Russia? I will take Trump every day of the week over what I saw from Joe Biden last night, because every time, like, guys, Joe Biden, every time he got stuck or flustered, he would lie, he would speak incoherently, give out completely inaccurate information. I mean, it was actually absurd. I don't know what they pumped him full of, but it was actually absurd in the back half of the debate, the things that came out of Joe Biden's mouth. And anyone who has been paying even the least bit of attention knows that. Now, here's the thing, though. I do believe that the help that this is going to give is on a more subconscious level. I don't necessarily think it's something that a lot of people who are undecided voters are going to be like, yeah, Trump. No, I don't think Trump changed anyone's mind last night in terms of what is going on in their conscious awareness. But if you've watched any of my videos before, you know that most of our decisions are made in our subconscious before they ever come to our conscious awareness. And so if I'm an undecided voter, and I just want someone that's going to do a good job leading the country, you know, Trump is going to stick out to me more because he demonstrated those overt leadership qualities. Now, think about this. Think about the average CEO of any company. Most people don't like the CEO for exactly the same reason that a lot of people don't like Trump and how he displayed his attitude last night. It is exactly the same thing. But if the CEO is getting the job done at the end of the day, if he is making sure that the company is successful, making sure you still get a salary at the end of the day, you still want the CEO in the job, because the alternative is you're going to come in, bring in someone that's nice and calmer and doesn't interrupt as much, but he's not going to get the job done. And eventually the company is going to go under as a result. Trump is the CEO that the country needs. However, I do think there was a mistake. I do. And this is what I was worried about with Trump from the very beginning. I was talking about this for the last several weeks. I was always worried that Trump was going to come out as a freight train and go too hard, because it was pretty obvious to me that Biden was not going to be able to match up against Trump. I think it was pretty obvious to everyone. But what I thought was going to happen was that Trump would go way too hard and he would press him way too much, and he would cross the line where it would look like he was just beating the crap out of Biden, and people were going to start to feel sorry for him. And so I bring you to another tweet that I sent. I think I sent this one last night. I said, so here's the thing. Biden was not up for debating Trump, and the contrast is the problem there. The contrast is the problem. The contrast between what we saw last night from Donald Trump and what we saw last night from Joe Biden was way too stark. And this is the problem. The contrast between Trump and as a strong leader and Biden as a sad grandpa who just wanted to go to bed was too much. Our brain learns a lot by contrast because our brain looks for patterns in things, right? It wants things to show up in a nice, predictable way. When there's a heavy contrast between two different things, it almost emphasizes how different they are. Now, what I was thinking about last night was the book and the movie Ender's Game. And if you haven't read the book and or seen the movie, I mean, the book is like always far superior. Obviously, the book is always far superior. But I think the movie's pretty good too. Some people who are big Ender's Games fans don't agree with me on that. Like my husband doesn't agree with me on that. But I saw the movie before I read the book, and then the movie got me interested enough to read the book. So maybe that was why. But there is a part of, and I think it's in both the book and the movie. And it's at the very beginning. I'm not going to give anything away, where Ender is basically a kid. He's a kid in school, and he's like this genius kid that they're grooming to be a great military leader because that's what they did in these books. And so Ender is bullied in school by kids who are jealous that they're not as smart as him. And so one day after class, Ender basically gets into a fight with this young kid, and Ender like grabs something off a desk in a science class, and this is overt in the movie, like hits him, and the kid falls down and is bleeding. And instead of stopping, because Ender's won the fight at that point, Ender keeps hitting him with the thing over and over and over again. He keeps hitting him with the thing over and over and over again until the kid is bloody on the ground. And he got in trouble for this, obviously. And he got taken home to his parents, and there was a conversation about, like, why, once you knocked him down, once you won the fight, why did you keep hitting him? And the answer was, he wasn't just trying to win this fight. He was trying to win all future fights. Because if you beat your enemy bad enough in one fight, that takes care of the problem for the entire... They know enough not to come back at you. All right? I think what I saw from Trump last night was... not that he just knocked Biden down. He knocked Biden down in the first 20, 30 minutes. That debate was fun to watch for the first 20 to 30 minutes. And then it became painful. Why did it become painful? Because Trump just kept hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting over and over and over again until Biden looked like a sad old man, like he was going to cry. Now, some people are like, Carlin, we should show no mercy. I mean, I don't think you're going to win over people by proverbially, not literally YouTube, obviously, but not proverbially, figuratively, you're not going to win over undecided voters by figuratively beating Joe Biden to a bloody pulp and then continuing to kick him. People don't like when that happens, guys. And that's where Trump went wrong. Trump went too hard. He didn't know when to put on the brake. He didn't know when to bring it back. He got so fired up about some of these issues that he got really rattled, and he wasn't speaking clearly and he wasn't speaking concisely. Was he demonstrating that he is the stronger leader of the two? Yes, but at what cost? This is one of those things, and I'll use the CEO example again. A common thing that plagues a lot of CEOs is they become the bull in the china shop. They become the guy that needs to win by any means necessary. Well, guess what? People don't like that guy. People don't like that guy. Trump could have won. He could have taken the W and have still done it with a little bit more grace and humor, and I think it would have come across much better than beating Biden to a figurative bloody pulp. And I think that's where he went wrong. I do. So now people are already talking about the fact that Biden just shouldn't debate Trump at all anymore. I don't even know why we're even bothering with presidential debates in an election. We'll see what happens. I hope they do have more debates. I think that Trump needs to learn from what happened in this one. Trump is obviously the stronger of the two on the debate stage, but what he needs to do is to start to clarify his message. He needs to learn what effing critical race theory is. Let's just be honest. No one on that stage last night knew what critical race theory was. Trump didn't know. Biden didn't know. Chris Wallace didn't even know. None of them understood it. Trump needs a more consistent answer to that question. He needs a more clear, concise answer to a lot of different questions. But again, I think Trump won the debate. I think ultimately it will help him because whether or not, it's like an evolutionary thing, man. We want the alpha to be in charge. And in this scenario, Trump is the alpha and Joe Biden is absolutely the beta. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this one. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, leaving a comment. Leave a comment. Tell me who you think won the debate and why. I would really like to hear your different opinions. And yeah, that's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.